The tunes that I'd like to play today, I'd like to try to have the tunes, whatever they are, go into our list of tunes. And our goal, one of our, let's say, takeaways, as we say in English or in America, is that everybody here who kind of sort of knows each other and you guys play together, I want to encourage you to play together more because it's the main way you're going to learn besides listening is playing together. And individual practice, of course. But playing together is going to be the thing that, playing and singing together will be the thing that really gets you. Because the reason jazz sounds like it sounds and the master players got to sound so good is because they played together all the time. And in the 40s and 50s and 60s and 30s and 20s, well, of course, live music was the music. Especially in the 20s and 30s. If you wanted music, you had to go and hear a band live. You had a little bit of radio and stuff, but no jukeboxes, no records, no CDs, nothing. 78s eventually. But otherwise, you had to go and hear cats, which means that since music is a wonderful thing and people wanted music, people were playing all the time. And so, because cats were playing constantly, they got better and better. The groups got better, the individuals got better, everything got better. If you want to be a good, actually jazz, funk, rock, anything, playing a lot is the key, right? In a group, individually, of course, but also in groups. So I want to take this. I want you to take this seriously. The idea of developing a repertoire, a collective repertoire, that everyone knows, and I mean knows. So memorize, can play in any key. That's when you know a tune. You can play a tune in any key. That means you know it, right? Including singing in any key. So you have your keys, vocalists, right? But you should also develop the skill of singing a tune in at least the, let's say, quote, normal standard key, even if it's not your key. Like, figure out how to do it. Just octave, whatever you have to do and make it happen. And then, of course, have your key, whatever your key is for the tune. That's a basic thing. But if you get the skill of playing a number of tunes in the original key, you can drop into any situation with a minimum of hassle, right? Because otherwise it's like, well, I can't really play it in that key. Can we do something else in something easier key? Why do we want to do it in B? And it's like, boom, there's the fight. That's a bad choice. That then turns into a problem, right? It's like, oh God, we could be playing already. Now we're like fiddling around trying to find a tune and get a key. When all you gotta do is, oh, let's do it in C, no problem. We got it, let's go. And then you're done and you're making music already. That's what you want. You gotta get to that. Right. For some, that's not for your record. Maybe you're not going to do, some tune in some key that's maybe not your optimal key for your voice. But if you can get that skill, and then the converse is also true. Instrumentalists learn to play tunes in other keys, of course. I mean, not only because it makes it easier to work with singers, and I work with a lot of singers. And Betty Carter was my first major gig, so I have her to thank for a lot of what I've been able to get done. So trust me, I love singers. I think singers are awesome. So I think that, and again, it's an attitude thing. It could be like, oh God, singers do stuff in other keys. Or it could be, damn, how cool is that? Singers do things in other keys, right? It's just a choice. You can be dark and crazy about it and then be kind of all whatever. Or it can be, oh, here's an opportunity to learn something. And trust me, professional players of any genre can play any tune in any key. Good players, solid, really good professional. And I can play any tune in any key pretty much. Not perfectly the first time. Maybe if I'm playing Donna Lee in some weird key, it's going to be okay. I was going to be like, okay, well, I'm going to practice on this one, let's say. But normal tunes, I'm pretty good, and on piano and saxophone and flute, And I mean, playing tenor and flute and alto flute, you got to be able to play in several keys anyway, because they're all in different keys. So, I get it. I played Ipanema yesterday. I never played it on flute, so I was like, okay, had to just think a little bit, but, not that big a difference in the key, but just the point is that we just get it done. And if we do that, then that makes, again, we can really get to our music all the quicker. And it's a basic skill that it turns out even applies to, if you play Have You Met Miss Jones, guess what? You're already changing key by the time you get to the bridge. Hello. So you gotta get 12 keys together anyway. So you might as well, even playing one friggin' tune. So you might as well get them where you can play, that way you really know a tune. And boy, that skill, again, as a musician, as a musical skill, as a challenge, as something fun to do, and other keys sound different. That's what I really like, the most important of all. That's really why you really want, besides playing together easier, is check out how, like, let's say we do When I Fall in Love. We do it now. Right? So that's that key. Now check out this key. The difference in the way the keys sound. The one key is and just a real different sound in terms of the way it lays on the saxophone. And that's a reason. That's a big reason to explore keys. Is the sonority of how a song lays on your instrument. And the old guys always played tunes in different keys. In fact, the one and only correct answer to the question, do you know this tune? Do you know When I Fall in Love?
Yeah.
There's only one correct answer, which is
in which key?
Correct. That's the one and only correct answer of a tune if you know the tune, then the only correct answer is in which key if you really know the tune. That's why we really learn tunes. We learn them. We don't just look at them and respond to our visual stimulus of a bunch of chord changes. We learn the tune. We get it inside of us so that we can really express ourselves. The visual thing is a different story. You're visually responding to this series of chord changes. That's a different process, and that's not the real process. Like the jazz guys that we like the really master jazz guys, they're not looking at some stuff and responding to some chord changes or something. They're not. That's not what it is. That's cool, that's important, but that's not what the real thing is. The real thing is, it's in you. You hear it and you play, and that's it. It's like trying to talk by reading out of a book. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, where are we gonna go? Hold on, hang on a second. Where's my? Oh, here it is. We are going to go to the store. We're gonna go to the store, and that's not swinging, is it? You know? Where are we gonna go? We're going to the store. Let's go. Boom. That's swinging, right? So that's what you got to get to. So it can't be this like, it starts off like that, right? But that's what the real process is of expression. So you got to get to that, right? So thought about you softly. Then the blues, well, the blues is everywhere. Just listen to all kinds of jazz music. The blues is everywhere. Even in standards, cats are playing like the blues. You know, you listen to Hank Mobley, there's blues everywhere. Dexter Gordon, Clifford Brown, Freddie Hubbard, Louis Armstrong. Blues is everywhere. They're playing Misty Does the Blues. It's still mixed in there. Charlie Parker. In almost anything, they're hinting at the blues. Not the form, not the 12-bar, but just the feeling of it. You know, some of the ideas. So blues is central to everything. That's where jazz comes from, you know, in terms of its most basic sounds. So you got to do the blues, right? And then rhythm changes is, again, one of the earliest jazz tunes. I got rhythm, and there's about probably 30, 40 tunes there's at least 20 that we play, or at least 10 that we really play that are based on I Got Rhythm, of, you know, Anthropology and Eternal Triangle and Oleo and Funjimama and a bunch of tunes, you know, that are based on rhythm changes. And the rhythm changes has this fast harmonic motion. Da 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 bo da do da do 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 da has that motion, 2 beats per chord, that again has to be addressed in your practice of learning to play jazz. So that's one of the reasons you learn the tune, to deal with that. Now you've got to address that, and that's one of the challenges. And you get that together, then boom, you've learned something that then you can apply to other kinds of tunes. You now a moment's notice or a giant steps. Those tunes are a little less intimidating because you've now dealt with a tune with some fast moving chords in it, as opposed to like Softly and Thought About You, which are not that way, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why we pick repertoire. We pick repertoire besides the good tunes is to help us address the variety of harmonic and rhythmic and musical challenges.